No, I am not Parker Jackson, but welcome to the Parker Jackson Show, live here on MSNBC. I'm Michael Smith, filling in for Parker Jackson tonight in our brand new Studio 3B. We thank you for joining us here live from Rockefeller Plaza here in New York. Thank you all so much for joining me. We appreciate your viewership, and we thank you for tuning in to MSNBC on this wonderful Monday evening. Boy, do we have some news for you, but we have some exciting guests joining us. But our returning panelists here on MSNBC, Liam D. McDonald's going to be talking about the crazy week the White House has had. We continue our White House in Crisis series. Also, we're going to be talking to some people from the A Con Artist campaign. We're going to be talking to, I believe, Savory Soup. He's going to be coming from the A Con Artist campaign to talk about his campaign and figure out where they stand and what they believe in, how they're going to help you, the American voter, and what change they're trying to make in America. That's going to be a very interesting interview as well. We have a lot of great people coming up here on the Parker Jackson Show, so do not go anywhere. We're going to go ahead and begin right now. Thank you all so much for watching the Parker Jackson Show. I'm going to begin with some breaking news we're getting from our newsroom here. And this is just something that, some rumors I'm going to talk to Liam about. But Liam, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm pretty good, Michael. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Welcome to the show. This studio is just really, really nice. What do you think about it?
I like it, Michael. Yeah, you did a wonderful job on it.
We hired a dev for this one. This dev actually did a pretty good job. I think the logo looks nice. I think the city looks amazing tonight. I think it looks really nice. I think they did a really good job. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into today's news. Now, we have some news coming in. This is something that's just been like extremely crazy. Armin Foley being a homosexual. He's gay. He's coming out as being gay. This was something that's been circling around Twitter, online, the media. What possibility do you think this is actually true? I mean, do you think Armin Foley is a homosexual?
No, I think he's just a troll.
Yeah, I think that's just the gist of that. So had to get that question out of the way. Had to get that question out of the way. So talk to us about this dumpster fire of a week we've been having, of the weekend we just had. We had a horrible weekend in the White House. We talked about on the Today Show, right, how horrible of a weekend this presidency had. I mean, the incompetence of the press secretary, the incompetence really of this entire administration. This administration really just seemed to be falling apart.
Yeah, I agree, Michael. I wrote up some remarks there, starting with the GOP Senate majority and leading in to the shitty week Biden's had, and just recapping what's going on in Congress. Following Bernard giving Biden the constitutional nomination without consulting the literal one member of the Constitutionalist National Committee or the party at large, and I imagine others, felt let down by party leadership while Bernard was chairman. So after a while of consideration, I made the change to the only other conservative caucus in the Senate, GOP. Following my announcing this decision via Twitter yesterday evening, shortly before 6 p.m. Eastern, 8 of my fellow senators, Epic, Parker, JSJS, Akon, aka Mephis, GameLab, and Pig350, followed suit. Shortly after this, the president's vice presidential nomination to the Senate, Ozir Hybrid, and the now former majority leader and running mate of the president, Zach, rage quit AR. Zach appointing former Israeli prime minister and current United States senator and Secretary General, I believe, in the United Nations, Gergug, to be the interim chair.
Right. So I want to talk to you about that because I want to talk to you about the VP pick of Bahan Filipino after this horrible pick by Azure Hybrid. I want to talk to you about that because I thought the pick that he chose was just absolutely just terrible. I mean, I don't know what you think about it, but I think the pick that he did, this Yiddish guy, absolutely terrible. If you remember, this guy is a hacker. He's a spawn killer. He's a literal murderer that we're going to have for vice president.
Him in Noosa he was a federal judge. I think it was more of a political friendship nepotism appointment, if you know what I mean. But he was AOS during his time as a federal judge.
Yeah, so what do you think about the pick? I mean, he was committing crimes in Noosa. He was a part of the Sponge Gang, a gang that gave the police and really Noosa a summer of riots in 2020 that we all covered on this exact network. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, him being vice president, I mean, that is just, I'm not sure how good of a pick that was.
No, no, Michael. I think in terms of crime, it's good for activity. The Justice Department, the FBI, LA when it finally comes out, other aspects of law enforcement and the justice system. But I don't think we should be having criminals in the highest echelons
No, I
of
don't think so.
government.
No, not at all. It's really something here. And the news is just flowing in this evening. That's just the first thing we have here. Like I said, we have the Azure hybrid thing that just happened. I mean, with him leaving the community off of his failed nomination, which is really, really something. And how the Republican Party has just flipped the Senate. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. It's really, really something here. What has been going on in the Senate here? So, what do the Republicans plan to do with the Senate once now that they have it?
Well, Akon, he started as PPT. He launched since the majority was changed. That triggers minority and majority elections. So he launched those, and so far only majority ones have been closed. Game Lab was elected Homeland Security Chair unanimously, and I was elected Majority Leader near unanimously.
Right, right. So, right. That's good. That's good. So, what laws or legislation do you plan to put in?
Well, we're working on a few things pertaining to the National Security Council, uh, the defense apparatus. We're not going to do anything related to the Treasury development or the federal budget till the presidential election and the next transition, whatever happens. We'll sort that out then. And we're working on the Civil Office Definitions Act, Line of Succession Act, I think a repeal and replace, and a few other titles that I'll get back to you with on a later date.
Yeah, that's really good. So, thank you so much, Liam, for coming on. We appreciate it, and we thank you for spending some time with us on MSNBC. You spent a lot of time with us, so thank you.
Glad to be here, Michael.
Right. So, coming up on Parker Jackson, on the Parker Jackson Show, we're going to be coming up. We're going to be talking to some people from the Con Artist Campaign to talk about their plans for America. Coming up, you're watching the Parker Jackson Show. And welcome back to the Parker Jackson Show, here live from Rockefeller Plaza, here live here in New York. I'm Michael Smith. Thanks so much for joining me. And I'm joined now by a member, a staffer from the Con Artist Campaign. Joining me now is Savory Soup. Savory, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, Michael?
I'm doing good. Talk to me about Con Artist. The guy, I think I got some dev work from him once. I think when he used to be a dev, by the way. I think he probably, of course, still is. But, he's newer. We've seen him in news for a couple times. Talk to us about Con Artist. What is he trying to do besides having these really catchy advertisements that everybody seems to be watching nowadays?
Yeah, the video was a thing that we kept in the dark for a while, but it seems to be working. Basically, Akon joined the race, pretty late, but still has amassed over 80 members within, I believe, 2 days of announcing his candidacy. But basically, our plan for for America, uh, for the Akon campaign is, recently, like you said earlier, with the devastating, resignations and, basically just failure to create a stabilized America within American roleplay. Akon's plan is just to get us rolling. You know, we obviously have these revolutionary ideas that we are proposing, but you can't do these ideas until we have a stable foundation for our country. Um, if you look at our policies that was released today, we go over our domestic policy, which goes through NASA, judicial, and our development plans, treasury, and commerce. One big thing that I really liked about our domestic policy was our treasury, because you go back to NUSA and you see how inactive the Treasury Department began, where it died basically. Our plan is to pump finances through the Treasury to make sure our finances flow through our departments, and it's critical that money comes into our economy and it goes out, and it completes the economic circle. Uh, and to make this work, we plan to open up commerce in America where businesses can actually have a place in Las Vegas, and where obviously where the commerce is still getting their cut, but they're going to pay the equivalent of taxes to our Treasury Department to make sure we can fund things like military assets, like warships, bases, and etc.
Right, right. So, talk to me, Savory. What is your definition? What is the campaign? What is Connor's definition of a stable foundation?
Basically, as hard as it is for people who have really different ideas to unify, it's basically making sure our system works. Not a system that, only Acon wants, but basically a system that is fair for all. So you see in Nusa, we had like, it wasn't the best. Obviously, it was very toxic at times, but the system worked, and that's basically just having a flowing government that we can have bills passing. Our Senate isn't dead. One thing that we definitely have a problem with, and one big reason Akon joined the race, because we have the Speaker of the House who hasn't done anything since he's joined. He hasn't written the House standing rules. None of that. While Akon's literally built the Senate up. Oh my gosh, the Senate up
They
from ground.
actually have.
You said what?
Armin actually has written the if you refer to committee, it hasn't been to the floor yet because there's only 5 representatives and only 2 are active.
Yeah.
You would
But
think
everything's already
the
done.
Speaker would take you think the Speaker would take initiative to have members pumped into the House of
Well,
Representatives, but
there isn't even enough House members right now to have quorum if all 5 were to be online.
yes, I understand that, but you see how long Armin has been speaker, and you see that he has had time to fix this issue with group management, and he just hasn't
Well, the
really.
only issue would be to be electing more representatives, and that's a group management issue. It's out of his hands.
Armin wasn't elected. Armin was put into the House. He wasn't
No, I'm
elected. They
talking
could
about
simply do his
adding
name.
more House members to pass these things. That was just what we were
Yes.
talking about 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, you just said, well, why
Yeah.
isn't Armin fixing this? And I said he can't. It's a group management issue. There needs to be elections had to elect more representatives to the House, to have quorum,
And
to have a
you think
session.
he would take initiative to push the group management to do something? You would think, right?
Well,
Or
he
is that
can't
or
do
is
it
he
exactly
just isn't that
himself.
guy? He just isn't a
Well,
guy that would
there's
take
a
the initiative,
schedule.
right?
There's a
I've
schedule.
never I've
He
never
can't
seen
affect
Armin
it.
take initiative. The initiative, the schedule was just put into place. He's had time to have the schedule pushed earlier.
Well, actually, no, the
But this
schedule
this
was earlier, but group management postponed it because the game was pushed.
what does the game have to do with House of Representatives? I don't see.
Well, no, the
Uh,
FEC and group management, okay, they pushed the elections that were scheduled previously, right? And now there's a new schedule.
yes, whenever Armin was first put in leadership, you would think maybe he wouldn't have only 5 people put into House of Representatives.
Well, that was just
But this is straight.
that was Bernard's NUSA transfer policy.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't just American roleplay. As you see, in Armin's speakership in USA, like nothing got done whatsoever. But I mean, this is straying from what we
Well,
were talking about, really.
well, if you look, there was only 50 people who were active in Nusif. So,
Well, then that means that you have 50 people to work with to make a house work. But anyways, Michael, any more questions regarding the domestic policy?
Right. So, no, that's all I have on domestic policy. Now on foreign policy, right? What is Conar's view on UN and making sure that we have a strength relationship with our allies, not necessarily the whole globalist idea, but having a relationship with our allies, not necessarily being globalist.
So basically, with that being said, I feel like foreign policy is a big idea to any candidacy, but at this point in American roleplay, I don't think we can afford to, focus so much on things that isn't America. Like Richo said, I've spoken to him on different accounts. Like even to him, the UN isn't a priority. It's making sure that American roleplay is active. Um, but to actually answer your question without saying what I just said. Obviously, our administration plans to build, strong relationships with all nations in the United Nations. We plan to recruit more nations, and we plan to have an active State Department that can carry this out without, ACON having to micromanage it.
Say something. Any final words on behalf of the campaign?
What do you mean by that?
Anything you want to say to the American people before we let you go?
Oh no, I just want. Actually, yes. I thank everyone for their continued support. Um, Akon plans to release his running mate at 100 members. So join discord.gg/con2022 if you want to see the running mate release. Thank you, Michael, for having me tonight, and I'm gonna hop off.
Thank you so much. Now, don't go anywhere just yet. But we do have some news now that Shield
Thank you.
Palpatine will be on to talk to you about the policy. Now he wants to talk to you. Wants to talk to you about uh, exactly what's going on because he thinks you're stupid. He thinks you're really dumb. So when we come back from the break, I want to bring him on and I want you to talk to him about what he thinks about the issue. So we're going to talk to him about that when we come out after from the break,
Michael.
and then we're going to get more into the next segment. So when we come back, we're going to hear from those two, and then we're going to continue with the show. Parker Jackson Show. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on the Parker Jackson Show to talk about the issues on our full Jackson panel. So, guys, let's talk about this. So, let's talk about some things that are going to be coming up in the election coming up. Now, we have countdown to just about 2 to 3 weeks left until the election. And really the House elections are tomorrow. So let's talk to you, Liam, first. What are some things we need to look forward to in these elections? Do you think this should be a Republican gain, constitutionalist gain, forward gain? Who will win the most seats tomorrow night?
Well, Michael, I can't speak to that. I can give you my hopes and my aspirations for that, but anything in an election is a gamble. I'd like to hope we can elect active representatives who are impartial enough to work together to proactively pass legislation.
Right, that's good. So joining us now again, a new member of the panel actually is Peep fans. So talk to us, Peep. What are your thoughts about tomorrow's house election? Who do you think is going to gain the most?
Well, as I've seen, we have plenty of new candidates from across all parties, which is very interesting for our community because a lot of the older members of our community are starting to let a newer generation come in and basically take over the reins of the politics. So what I've gathered from Twitter polls and everything, it looks like almost the Constitutionalist Party it's falling behind now. I mean, the GOP now has gathered most of the Senate seats, if not, they have a majority now. So the Ford Party also basically has no seats, and with the recent
Right.
events in Biden's campaign, it doesn't like right now that they have any leverage to go on.
What do you think these parties can do to try to get back in the game, try to get back in the lead? I mean, it's going to take a lot. What do you think?
Personally, I all I could say was they need to get their policies and everything made to the public. All of the events that happened, with the Ford Party, I could tell them that maybe a change of leadership, reform their policy ideas, etc. Um, and just they need to start campaigning more for their party. I don't see it with the Ford Party as much as I used to. I mean, they're beginning the game so many members now. They're in a halt.
Yeah, Ozzier was really the only person who campaigned for them.
Yeah. Right. So that's really good. So house election, Savor, your thoughts on that? What are you guys hoping for?
As the current vice chairman of the Constitutional Party, obviously, with the recent leadership change, we plan on, it's definitely a setback this close to an election. But I'm looking for candidates to endorse right now. I'm going through applications, files, and policies. But definitely, obviously, we're seeking the majority. But obviously, even if we don't, we plan to work with the GOP to ensure that we also have an efficient House. Because gridlocking the House is going to do nothing for the American people. I'm sure everyone can agree.
Exactly. It's not gonna do anything at all. Right. Exactly. So that's really good. So talking about actual elections, which are going to be in about 2 to 3 weeks from now, we are in a pretty much countdown mode to elections. It seems like Armand Foley seems to have this in the bag. Would you agree with that, Saber? And we'll go down the list. As you are a member of the Akon RS campaign, what is he trying to do to try to get that last vote out? To try to get his last statement out before anything, because you got to think about it. We haven't had debate all year. We haven't had any conventions. It's just been kind of stale. We haven't had really any voter engagement. It's just been kind of stale. Your thoughts on that?
Definitely, the ability to not have a game like we did with DC, where we could, go around DC and talk to people, that definitely has set us back a little bit, especially because, Discord does you no justice to getting your personality over and your like actual, how do I say it, like your true character. Like, you know, while it's easy to, DM someone and, bold-faced lie to them, like, I'm not gonna say any names, but and fake a personality that isn't really there. It's easy to do that over Discord, but whenever you actually have to sit down and talk to them, it's really different. So I definitely, our plan is to debate Armin. I believe Akon said, and definitely have a running mate debate whenever Akon's running mate is released. But that's pretty much it. We started we started late, but that doesn't mean anything. We have momentum going. Akon 2022. Slava Ukraine.
Right. Okay. Talk to me, peeps. Your thoughts on this? Who are you supporting in the next coming days?
Um, well, personally, I haven't made any decisions on who I'm going to support. I don't really like to get involved with the political parties and everything. It's not my thing. I like my law enforcement career, etc. But I do have some ties to the Constitutionalist Party, as I was one of the original founding people of it for AR. So that's all I can tell you right now.
Definitely. All right. So, Liam, do you know who you're supporting yet? And I'm gonna get in my own.
Well, yeah, I'd say so. I'm Armin's running mate, but I think Armin, your question there is Armin having it in the bag or what to it with debates and voter engagement. And Savory there, he said Akon has momentum, but I really just think a lot of people are in Akon's server. They're also mutual servers with Armin's and Bayern's. There's a lot of debate to be had.
Right. So,
Michael, if I may say something.
yeah.
See, in regards to presidential debates, that was supposed to be originally handed to CBS. They dropped the ball on that one.
Right, and it seems like our network, MSNBC, has been instructed to host them, but it seems like we're going to get with our parent network, NBC Universal, and see how that's going to work out at this time. So, I want to talk to you about my own beliefs. I think that Armin Foley may be the best choice in this election. You know, I think he is talking to the no-nonsense voter, the voter that's tired of government bureaucracy at its finest. Behan is a great friend of mine. I've known him for a while now. But his administration just hasn't cut the mustard. And can we agree on that? I mean, his administration just hasn't cut the mustard. Either way around it. Anybody here support the current president? Anybody here support the current president? Exactly. The president has done a terrible job. I mean, he has done terrible, really, in America so far. I mean, he is doing horrible. I mean, his administration is crumbling by the day. He has horrible staffers. Who picked these people to be in his cabinet? Who picked these people to be in his cabinet? I mean, I'd rather have a con artist than Behan Filipino. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, you know, we need somebody with a good bit of experience. His VP pick is horrible. I mean, you want to put a thug, somebody that's been shooting up Bloods and Crips in Noosa as the VP. I mean, this guy has got to be on crack cocaine if he thinks that this is acceptable. I mean, the press briefing was just an example of how far and low down this administration is going.
Michael,
it's not going well.
I think he can see the writing on the walls, and I think this nominating Yiddish as VP is a last-ditch effort. I think he's going to hope it fails in the Senate or the House, and he's going to blame it on the GOP because the GOP endorses Armin, and that's going to be his last-ditch effort to try and be elected. Well,
that's one person thing, and that's good. I mean, all I'm saying is that this is just absolutely ridiculous been going on here in this country. I mean, this administration is falling. It's crumbling down. I don't know what else to say, but I mean, it is falling, crumbling down. I mean, Behan's administration is doing terrible. Especially, who would put Arthur Chin in a cabinet position? I mean, who would put Lion Claws? The dude looks like he just came out of a Roblox noob store, let alone be in the press room. I mean, he's representing the people of America with looking like a noob. I mean, he looks like a noob. He looks like a total broke retard that just stumbled on the press room somewhere like that. I don't know where did he come from. I don't know. What a retard. But all I'm saying,
I don't think you could be in the communications department or the press corps and not engage the press with communication.
Exactly. I mean, he does not engage with the press. He denies the press. He acts like the press doesn't exist. They don't want to answer questions. The dude's a retard. I mean, he's an absolute idiot. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, we got to get this guy fired. Lion needs to be fired. All these people need to be just fired. Throw them out, and throw it away. Throw it all away. They need to throw it all away and throw these people out and get them fired. Because I don't know what Behan was thinking when he put these people in office. But, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking, but this was not what he needed to be doing, because this is just gonna ruin his administration right here, because you got Akon News, you got all this stuff.
Michael, you've got this press secretary. Is Arthur Chen press secretary? What is he? But
He's
Associate
Associate Attorney General, which that's more than what he needs. He needs to be Associate Fart General. Associate Fart General is what he needs to be, not Associate General. I mean, really, what is he talking about? What is he doing?
How can we think the DOJ is going to be unbiased when you have the Associate Attorney General go up to the press podium and say certain news media is biased, they assault reporters? It's just it's lunacy.
All lunacy, and it's all lunacy for a specific reason. And I'm tired of these people trying to lie to the American people. They're covering up things. They're doing a lot of things. They're doing a lot of backdoor dealings. I'm talking to the Forward Party. What idiot is a part of the Forward Party? I mean, they're not doing anything for the American people. They're just...
Well, I don't even understand it.
I don't understand it. It's supposed to be a socialist party.
Right, but forward, yet they're a leftist party.
It's a socialist leftist party. And you have people in the Republican Party that are just straight up... Forward. I mean, I don't know where these people got their grammar skills from, because, I mean, if you can't even spell basic words right, you should not be running for House or office. Like, you have people that can't even put two sentences together and are trying to run to represent America. I mean, these people ought to be ashamed of themselves. They can't even put two sentences together. Absolutely insane. Final thoughts from everybody before we wrap up the show.
In recent
Michael,
news, the Conneal guy we had on, or this morning there, he left Forward Party. He's running for House as Republican now.
Yeah, so he's running as a Republican now. Well, he needs to cut out the whole Michael Smith bashing if he's going to run in the Republican Party, because he needs to take a joke, sit down, and learn to take a joke.
Michael, if I might say something real quick. In response to Mr. Soup's comments about the Folly campaign, Mr. Folly has run a clean campaign from the start. He has not attacked Mr. Con Artist, and these attacks by Mr. Soup are not just libel, they're slander. Mr. Folly had no control over the election process. That is purely group management. And we'll see your ass in court, Mr. Soup.
Well, taking it to court, huh? Well, that's all the time we have, unfortunately, on the Parker Jackson. So, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have. We thank you so much for watching tonight, and we hope you have a great evening. You know, this is going to be the first time I ever host somebody else's show interim. I hope so. We'll see. I have no idea. But I hope I did a good job. I hope I did Parker Jackson justice. Parker will be back tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching the Parker Jackson Show. Fair, balanced, and still unafraid of the left-wing media, the mob, the leftist CNN, the Forward Party, the Constitutionalists, the self-proclaimed constitutionalist president. I don't know what I don't know what to call him. I don't know what he's calling him. He's not.
What the thing is he calls himself a classic liberal, yet he's a self-proclaimed constitutionalist.
Exactly. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely insane. That's all the time we have here. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great evening and stay safe. Thank you for watching the Parker Jackson Show. Good night.